Hello, everybody. I'm Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia, but my clients are all throughout the United States. So we can represent you in any kind of immigration law, no matter where you are located. So before I get started, for today, you feel free to call us for a consultation. We are doing them for clients all over the world, all over our country, and sometimes internationally as well. Okay, so you can reach us to schedule one at 703-348-1663. And also, if you are following us on Facebook, you can see our pinned message that has a link if you want to schedule your own consultation. So you're able to do that as well. So feel free to schedule a consultation. I'm going to start talking about some questions that come up here pretty often. And I will also go ahead and take your questions. So before, if you haven't joined me before, just as a heads up, we practice all kinds of immigration, right? So we represent companies that are sponsoring individuals. Today I had a consultation with a restaurateur, for example, who is looking to bring in some chefs from his home country for a restaurant. So this is someone who already has an established chain of restaurants in the U.S. and he is interested in bringing in chefs. So we represent people and companies that want to sponsor for employment. We also represent a lot of individuals that are seeking extensions of status or are coming in on student visas and want to change their status to something else. We do a lot of family-based immigration where people are sponsoring family members from abroad. And humanitarian cases, which is one of my favorite case types, where we represent victims of abuse, victims of crime, victims of trafficking, based on the abuse that they're facing. They are eligible for sometimes a visa, sometimes directly for a green card, sometimes a visa, then a green card. So we represent people literally in almost every aspect of immigration law. So if you'd like to give us a call, see what you might be eligible for, and have a consultation with us, we can help you with that. Many people give us a call and sometimes don't even know that they're eligible for something. So you can reach us at 703-348-1663. All right. Great. Great. Well, thank you for, hi, Bensel. Hi, Alima. Feel free to hop on here, say hello to me, tell me where you're from. And if you know other people that have immigration questions, please make sure to share this with them so they can hop on and ask their immigration questions. I'm literally taking any kind of questions, and I'm happy to answer them. Hi, Carlos. So go ahead and put them in. I'm going to get started with my question of the day. That is what I usually do. If you haven't joined me before, we get started with our question of the day, and that comes in kind of from that comes in from our clients. Rahul says, hi, I'm Rahul. How are you? I'm doing well, Rahul. Hi, thank you for joining. Again, if you are just joining, feel free to share this with other people who might have immigration related questions. I'm going to be here for actually not too long today, but hopefully they can join. If you want to like our page or follow us on TikTok, we are at Agarwal Immigration. That's our handle on both Facebook and on TikTok. So feel free to do that, to let people know, so then they can be informed when I go live and they can ask their immigration questions here for free. This is just obviously information that I'm providing. To give you specific information about your situation, I would need to have a consultation because obviously I can't get deep into your case on something like this. But if you have general questions, absolutely would love to answer them for you. All right, great. Okay, so let me get started on that question. How do you go from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card? Okay, how do you go from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card? Hello, Montu. Nice to see you. Hi, Super Flash. Thanks for joining. Hi, Mosab. He says, thanks for hosting this. What is the wait time for a green card application if I'm married to a U.S. citizen? Great question, Mosab. I'm going to answer that in just a second because I'm going to get to my question of the day. Okay, so my question of the day was, how do I go from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card? All right, how do I go from a 2-year green card to a 10-year green card? So someone maybe like Mosab, right? If you're married for less than 2 years at the time your green card is approved, what you get is a 2-year conditional green card. It kind of operates for all purposes the same way as a regular 10-year green card. However, at the end of 2 years, you'll have to show immigration that you are still married or that your marriage is bona fide, right? Not necessarily, not all the time that you're still married, but essentially they want to see that your marriage is not just for immigration purposes. Okay, they want to see that it's not just for immigration purposes. All right, so some people don't have any difficulty doing this because let's say they get married, maybe they decide to have a baby, they have joint bank accounts, their marriage is going beautifully and wonderfully, and their spouse is more than willing to apply for that 10-year green card with them to remove those conditions and go into that interview and everything goes smoothly. And that's wonderful. And we've had many clients that have that spouse go in with them for that 10-year green card. But not everybody can qualify for that, right? Not everybody can qualify for that. Sometimes you realize that your marriage is not what you thought it was going to be. Your spouse might become abusive. You might separate, right? So in the situation where you're still married, you might still be able to go from that 2-year green card to your 10-year green card by showing immigration that you're a victim of abuse. All right, and again, I'm going to say sometimes that is not, sometimes it's not physical abuse. It can be emotional abuse, psychological, verbal abuse, and that can be very, very harmful as well. So there is no police report required for this. There's no, there's no physical abuse requirement here, but you can show the government that you were subjected to extreme cruelty, and that can be emotional. That can be emotional, hurtful, verbal behavior, okay, on the part of your spouse. If this happens, you don't need your spouse to go with you to remove the condition. So we just have to prove that the marriage was not for immigration purposes. So hopefully you'll have some evidence that shows that it's not just for immigration purposes, like you travel together, you have pictures together, you have statements from friends and families, perhaps. Don't worry if you don't have some of these pieces of evidence. We can most likely talk to you and we can brainstorm what pieces of evidence are available in your specific situation, right? I'm just giving you some of the common ones so you can have a sense of the types of evidence that we submit. All right, so we show, number one, that the marriage is not just for immigration purposes, no matter if there's abuse or not. And if your spouse is not going to cooperate and come with you, you can also show extreme cruelty, which can be in the form of emotional or physical abuse if there is physical abuse. All right. If you would like to call us for a consultation to talk about something like this, I'd be more than happy to speak with you on that. Give me a call. We're doing our consultations by phone or by Zoom. And then some people are local to me in Arlington, Virginia, which is outside of DC, and they do come into the office. I'm in the office, as you can see. We are in the office we're in office daily, Mondays through Fridays, 9 to 5. So give us a call, come in and see us if you want, or we can do them by Zoom if you would like to have a confidential consultation to kind of go through the process of your case and see essentially, what options there are for you in your situation. Okay, that phone number is 703-348-1663. Again, that's 703-348-1663. Hi, Doris. Nice to see you. Let me get to Mosab's question. Mosab says, hi, thanks for hosting this. What is the wait time for a green card application if you're married to a U.S. citizen? So the wait time to get your green card approved is a little bit different if you're in the U.S. right now or if you're outside of the U.S., right? So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you might be outside the U.S. still, Or if you're married to a US citizen, you might be inside the US. So inside the US is much faster. It's about 1.5 years or so, assuming that you have a very standard application, that you qualify, that you don't need a waiver of sorts, right? If you have a very standard application, you're married to a US citizen, you entered lawfully, and you haven't, perhaps you don't hit any other kind of potential issues, right? That could be about 1.5 years. Of course, COVID has kind of gotten in the way and messed things up for us a little bit, but generally we're seeing these applications move pretty quickly still, okay? So that's if you're in the US. So the other question is, what happens, how long does it take if you're married to a US citizen and you're outside the country, right? So that's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a different question. So if the person being sponsored is outside of the US, then it's going to take a lot longer. So I'm seeing it take at least 2 years, sometimes longer than 2 years. It's a whole different process. It's a whole different administrative body that's processing your application when the beneficiary is outside the US. Certain parts are still the same no matter where the person is located. But if you're outside the US, it's going to take a little bit longer. All right. Give us a call if we can talk to you about your green card process and your green card application to speed things up. And I'm not just saying this. Obviously, I'm an attorney and I work, I'm an immigration lawyer. Obviously, we all know that. But we work with these applications every day. We see so many of them. We see current trends. And so if you want your application to go really fast, an attorney is really good to use because we kind of know the evidence that you need. We can understand the application, number one, pretty well. And we have experience doing this, so we can we're able to move a little bit faster than if you perhaps were to do it yourself. All right. But, many people do also do it themselves. So if you feel comfortable and savvy, by all means, give it a try. And it is definitely possible for you to file your own application. But why use an attorney? The attorney, we do this so often. And so we can do it pretty well, pretty efficiently, and pretty quickly. So to give your application the strongest chance in the fastest way, I would highly recommend using an immigration lawyer, not a non-lawyer, an immigration lawyer, to do your application. All right, give us a call if you want to have a consultation, 703-348-1663. Dara says, how long does it take to get your citizenship? How long does it take to get your 10 years? Okay, so those are two separate questions. So how long does it take to get your citizenship? So note that only green card holders are eligible to become a U.S. citizen, right? Only green card holders are eligible to become a U.S. citizen. So the question becomes, how long do you have to be a green card holder to be eligible to become a U.S. citizen, right? Most people have to be a green card holder for 5 years to be eligible to become a U.S. citizen. But if your green card is based on marriage, or actually, let me take that back. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, and I think there's a requirement of how long, but essentially you get a shortened amount of time that you have to be married, that you have to be a green card holder if you're married to a U.S. citizen. So generally, if you're married to a U.S. citizen for if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you're a green card holder for 3 years, then you can apply for citizenship. Okay. Excuse me. Just remember also, if you're applying for citizenship, you can do it within 90 days. All right. If you find this information helpful, if you know other people that have immigration questions, that might be confused about immigration, please remember to share this post. Remember to share this live with them, and also to like our Facebook page and our TikTok, to follow us on TikTok. We're at Agarwal Immigration. That's spelled AGARWAL and the word immigration. And that way you'll be notified every time I go live, and you'll be able to ask immigration questions. Okay. All right. So now to Doris's second question. Doris is asking, how long does it take to get your 10-year green card? All right, so if you already have a 2-year green card and then you're going to a 10-year green card, so again, this is only for people, these are kind of marriage-based situations for the most part. There are some other cases where you might have a 2-year green card and then you're going to a 10-year, but this is mostly for marriage-based applications, okay? So how long does that process take? So the processing time, to be honest, is kind of long. So they automatically extend. So if you have a 2-year green card and you file to remove those conditions and apply for your 10-year green card, normally you get a receipt notice, which will extend your status, your conditional resident status. It'll extend it usually for 18 months. All right, sometimes I've actually seen them do it for 2 years. So it's usually for 18 months or 2 years. Excuse me. And that just means, sorry, Darcy, I'm going to read your question in just a second. So once you file it and you process it, then it takes, I'm going to say it takes more than 18 months because most of my clients, that 18 months is already expired before their interview gets scheduled to get that 10-year green card. So I would say about 2 years, a lot about 2 years, which is very frustrating. But the fact that you file it, then essentially gets you an extension if everything, if it hasn't expired before it's filed. All right. If you have questions about timing, give us a call, 703-348-1663. Okay, so Darcy says, but if you haven't been married for 3 years now. I'm not sure what your question is. If you don't have a green card and you've been married, you don't have to be married for a certain amount of time to apply for a green card. That's a common myth. Like, how long do I have to be married to qualify for a green card? You don't have to be, you just have to be married. You have to be married to a US citizen or you have to be married to a green card holder, and then you can apply for a green card. That's it based on marriage. Okay, so you don't have to be married for a long time, or there's no requirement. You can apply as soon as you're married. All right. Mosab is asking, he says, I'm asking another question for a friend. Can you apply for STEM OPT while your GC application is pending due to marriage? That's a really good question. So if you're here in the country, I think that would be okay, but that is a really good question. We've had people kind of do this a little bit, right? So it's a problem. It's sometimes a problem because a STEM OPT extension is for students who qualify for work authorization after they graduate. So if you're wondering what's a STEM OPT, that's basically a visa extension for students that allows them to also work after they graduate from a US university. Okay, so it's an extension technically of their student visa. That essentially means that they're still in student status. And this all kind of becomes important because to be in student status, excuse me, to be in student status, you have to, or to qualify for it, you have to have the intention to want to leave the US after a certain amount of time, right? But if you also have a green card pending, that means that you want to live in the US permanently. Those two things conflict with each other. So it gets to be a little bit problematic. We've seen cases, the interpretation generally is that this isn't like you seeking admission, which would be different. You are kind of seeking an immigration benefit, but it's not the same as seeking admission. So we've seen people be successful with it. So I'm going to say yes, but I do think that there is a risk. But call us if you want to have a consultation, if you want to talk more about it, if you want to talk more about timing and when to do what. A lot of immigration is about timing. Guys, a lot of immigration is about timing, and to make sure that you are within the allotted time frames, that things go well. That's another reason. If you have some kind of deadline, if an expiration is coming up, you might want to talk to an immigration attorney because you want your case to go well and you want it to be filed quickly and properly, and that they've assessed the timing and that there's no confusion there. All right, just have a consultation if you think you can do it on your own. A consultation should kind of clarify your questions. So we're doing our consultations by phone, by Zoom, and in person. So if you would like to come in for a consultation, please feel free to do so. You can. We're located in Arlington, Virginia, which is right outside of Washington, D.C. But you certainly do not have to come all the way out here for a consultation if you're not local to the area. We are doing them by Zoom. I share my documents on Zoom. I email them for the people that want to do them by phone, and you can have the opportunity to ask all of the questions that you want about your case. All right. Or even the case that you want to file from. Excuse me. 009 says, are you from New York? No, I am not from New York. However, we represent many clients in New York, and that's because immigration is a federal practice, so we can represent you no matter where you are located. My bar license is in DC and Maryland. However, our clients are all over the country, some even outside of the country. So we can definitely represent you no matter where you are located. So the first thing to do if you want to start with us is to call us for consultation, 703-348-1663. All right, guys, I think those are all the questions for today. Hi, Luke Astley, maybe. I don't know. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have questions, feel free to call us to schedule, but also, make sure to share this with people that might find it helpful. Make sure to share us with others, just so they know that they can hop on here and ask immigration questions, because immigration is super, super complicated, and it's always really nice to be able to ask a question to a lawyer, and I'm here to answer them. I practice all sorts of immigration law, and that's why we are having this, to be able to answer your one-off immigration questions. Okay, so give us a call if you want to schedule a consultation, 703-348-1663. Otherwise, feel free to join me again. Tomorrow, I will be on live again. I'm not sure of the time, so that's why it's important to make sure you like our page at Agarwal Immigration on Facebook, and also follow us on TikTok. All right, guys. Great. Happy to see so many of you join me here today. And I will see you tomorrow. All right, everyone. Bye, and thank you.